Spider-Man 2 is here. It's been 4-5ish years, but it still feels like a bit too soon. But the last game was near perfect, feeling like it easily cemented itself alongside the Batman Arkham series, but kind of respectfully copying its homework. But Spider-Man is maybe the most constant thing in gaming, which isn't Nintendo. It's a weird thing, but it's always been there, from the good to the bad. Spider-Man's always been there in some way, and it's time to see if this Spider-Man 2 is better than the last. Welcome back to the Mumbling Game. On today's Mumble, we'll be mumbling about Spider-Man 2 and if it's better than Spider-Man 1. Is 2 spiders better than 1? And before we continue, please remember to like and subscribe for future mumbles. By the way, some mild spoilers for the first 3 hours of gameplay and the trailers. Other spoilers include all Spider-Man movies, Spider-Man 1 and the Miles Morales Spider-Man games. Spider-Man 1 was the perfect Spider-Man game. You could swing for hours and enjoy getting that platinum. That was pretty simple to get as well. The smooth gameplay was spectacular. This mixed with the heartwarming and kind of soul-destroying story, from liking Doc Ock to seeing him turn heel. We all saw it coming, but it still hurt. Then we have that scene. The game was so amazing it's hard to see what Spider-Man 2 could do to elevate for the sequel. Well, Insomniac Games answered with this and this. Maybe the most popular rising superhero out there, and well,
I am Venom.
It's time to say goodbye to Spider-Man 1 and hello to Spider-Man 2. Okay, we got a lot of exciting things to talk about, but let's calm down, stretch out our backs, and let's start with the recap. I know we said goodbye to Spider-Man 1, but some dedicated developers have put some time and effort into this recap, so we have to watch it. Even watch it if you played Spider-Man 1 yesterday, because you have to watch the recap, people. And this recap hit me in the feels. The death of May and remembering how good of a B villain Marty Lee was, most likely what Craven will be for this game. There is one thing that does stick out. At the point I played Spider-Man 1, it was the original and not the remake, and the new model is used in the new game and the recap of the old game, and it kind of shook me, making me think this isn't my Spider-Man. First time I saw the new model was in the Miles Morales game, in that science fair scene, and I was like,
wait a minute, who are you?
Even in Spider-Man 2 I did not like this model, especially in this game, because it feels like Peter is meant to be older, but he looks younger than Miles. He even looks younger than bloody Ganke. He looks like a baby spider. Maybe if you're a Tom Holland fan you like this model, but this guy is my favourite Spider-Man, and I would die on a hill with my web hand in the air that Amazing Spider-Man needs a third movie with Venom and Sinister Six, so maybe I'm a little biased on that Peter Parker model. Now with the recap out the way, let's go! The story here starts off pretty strong, and the teasers from the first game are shown off from the start with heavy, should I say, Osborn scene, looking like this would be a heavy part of the story of Spider-Man 2. I'm not going to say who, but it feels like a certain villain appears kind of similar to how Kingpin arrived in the original game, and then kind of have a slight presence but not that much, especially where I'm up to. It gives the possibility of an extra kind of B villain to appear, really sets the stage for the whole game. Imagine the Wolverine games kind of starting with a B grade villain but has a massive impact on the game at the start, but the presence kind of dwindles throughout the game. You know what? Comment below what you think should be that kind of villain in the Wolverine game. Going back to New York, crime is still booming, and now we have 2 web slingers. With how much crime there is still in this city, they're gonna need a Batman, or maybe a Venom. The additional of both Peter and Miles' student and teacher dynamic is amazing. It really does set the stage for what I hope unfolds through the game. But even at the start, it just feels really spectacular. I want a movie like this where Peter is more of a teacher to Miles. The start of this whole game gives me literal chills. I don't know if this is a warning for the future of this game, but I'm in for a wild time. But when this bop hits, you know it's spider time, and this is all happening within the first half an hour. The only double-edged sword here in the game is the flashbacks. In one way, yeah, it's a spectacular way of showing the villain's backstory, but when it's done with Peter, I'm not going to say I'm bored, but it reminds me of the Mary Jane missions and the Miles Morales missions from the first game, where they kind of take you out of the action. Yes, maybe it adds a layer to the story, but it does feel like padding, and the minigames in some of these elements are painful. Yeah, they're back, and damn, they are poorer than the last game. It does feel like through this game, Peter is older, struggling with a kind of different struggles since the death of May. Peter has, like, I don't want to say old adult, but like 20s, mid-30s problems. Mortgage and a good job is his main focus. There are two Spider-Men here, two different generation of spiders, and really players playing the game, and it captures that. Also, we have some flashbacks to May. I'm not crying, you're crying, but it captures that feeling of what people deal with in these two generations while you're playing the game. And that really is the developers' feelings through the design of the game. It really is tear-jerking how near amazing that is. It's been a long time since that kind of feeling happens while playing a game. I'm surprised the level of story this game is telling with the mirroring of characters, including the villains and the Spider-Man. It's so amazing and spectacular, I just want to read more comics after this. Imagine seeing the origin of how Spider-Man met Black Cat, how he knew about the Lizard, how he knew about so many different stuff already, like the Kingpin. We could see the Kingpin rise through a young Peter Parker's eyes. After playing the game though, I wouldn't mind either a Miles-sized game or DLC of the origin of this Peter Parker's Spider-Man. I know we've seen it so many times before, but this story in this game makes me kind of want that. After blowing up, webbing up Spider-Man's arse all this video, it's time to talk about the downfalls of this game, especially at the start. In the game, it feels like they are trying to tell two stories, but at the start, at least the first couple of hours, it does feel like the Peter Parker story. Also, personally, I'm not a massive fan of how many people know Miles is Spider-Man. It's like his mum, his friends, and other friends know he's Spider-Man. It's a bit too much, especially where he is in his spider career. And he's just walking around his house in his spider costume. It just kind of hurts a bit. And where Peter still doesn't tell his close friends that he's Spider-Man. It kind of feels like it's just too quick, like his story could be better told through these characters not knowing, kind of like Peter, because I want that Miles trilogy, damn it. Maybe it does keep them more different, but I don't know, it does feel like there could be something a bit more there. As we've seen in the Spider-Verse movies, Miles Morales' Spider-Man can be something truly maximum. Miles looks great though, and after a massive success of the multiverse movie and the focus of this game, I do hope for that Miles Morales 2, or even a spin-off new full-blown trilogy. Before we conclude on this amazing story, I hear you're asking, but does it make me feel like Spider-Man? Well, after swinging and kicking crime on the hardest difficulty with no deaths, my backseat gamer Spider misses the Shy Girl Merchant reaction was like this.
Wow, great reflexes.
Going into the gameplay, I've already mentioned that I'm playing it on the hardest difficulty. And it was easy breezy, web and squeezy until we hit the parry ability and I swung right into a wall. The introduction of the parry does get some getting used to, but it's a nice way of evolving that combat, and to no surprise I died a lot when it was introduced. Also, the missions are just what I wanted here. You get some for Miles and some for Peter. This is the greatest way of telling a story, and this is what Gotham Knights should have been. It does feel like Gotham Knights did this a lazy way. It really doesn't take much more to change it to kind of within the writing, because you can have the same amount of missions to do this. Maybe doing it 4 ways rather than 2 is harder, but still. If you want to hear more about this though, check out these 2 videos. Through the Spider-Man 2 gameplay, it does feel like the next generation of the game. The fast travel does take some time to unlock in each area, but it is quicker as Daredevil catching a brick. Another thing that does feel like the next generation is the set pieces. The boss fights and fights in general take place in so many detailed, varied locations, and it's truly spectacular. I can't show any of these because, well, it's spoilers, but they're really good. There's some moments there where you just think, holy shit, and that's why we play games. There is one drawback here. I know there's a lot of love-hate relationship with QuickTime events in games, but I feel like in this one there isn't enough. QuickTime events keep you glued to the cutscene, but here it feels like I'm just kind of watching the action for a bit too long. And they are in the game, so there could be more. Sorry for all the Spider-Man super fans out there, but there is some reasons why this game is not perfect, and to me it comes down mostly to the mini-games. With it feeling as weirdly more of them in the game, or is it just me? They're kind of the most boring parts of the game and kind of hurt the flow. There's literally multiple mini games of drones, and one of them is to set up that weird spider app, which just kind of reminds me of Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Punk.
It felt like this game was so close to being perfect, but it was stripped away by the mini games. But it's saved by the story, what will probably bring you to tears.
Are you okay?
After 3 hours of gaming, it has that Spider-Man atmosphere from both Spider-Man, and this is only after 3 hours. Are there some slightly things that are off and can tell why it only got a lower score of 8 average? Yes, but it's not a perfect game, but it definitely is a spectacular one. But before we finish this mumble, there is one more thing we have to talk about. I have currently not hit the Venom section of the game. I hope I have by the time of editing, but as soon as I saw this, I thought back when there was a rumour of a Venom game in development, and it feels like it's becoming more of a possibility. I can't find the rumour right now, and I'm not looking for it because it will spoil it for myself, and I have already found one spoiler while I was searching for this game, and I am rage filled from that. Not a massive spoiler, but kind of a light spoiler, but it feels like we could see a Venom game maybe at some time after Wolverine. Imagine playing as Venom going up against Carnage, or even the parallel of going up against Spider-Man. Playing as the villain would be a breath of fresh air, and we don't see that much. But that is it for this mumble. Please like and subscribe for future mumbles, and comment below your thoughts on Spider-Man 2, but no spoilers, because I will be checking, and I will see you on the next mumble.
The one who kept order in this city!